opportunity we've never had here. Transparency. Any questions you want on any topic, feel free. They're here for you.
So we're going to start off with our first guest speaker, Cruz. He's currently the president of Branch 41, Brooklyn Staten Island Merge. He's running for national trustee. So everybody welcome Mr. Cruz.
I hit the button and you'll get the ball.
Wow, I don't even get this much love in my branch. Appreciate it, guys. Can you guys hear me?
Hit the button on the mic.
All right. Oh, you gotta hit it?
Yeah, you gotta hold it down.
Hello?
There you go.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for inviting me here, and thank you for letting me be here. As you guys know, I'm the president of Branch 41, Brooklyn Staten Island Merge. We have accomplished a lot of things in our branch. I don't really talk about it much because I don't like to, I'm tooting my horn. But I do have a great executive board that helps me on a day-to-day basis. And I also have great membership that helps me on a day-to-day basis. In good or in bad or indifference, what we do, we listen to each other, we get advice from each other, and we don't never turn none of our brothers and sisters down. And the most important thing that I've learned in this leadership is to listen to our membership, whether it makes sense or whether it doesn't make sense. Letter carriers want to be heard, and that's what I do at my branch. And that's what I plan to do if I get elected to trustee, is listen to the 200,000 members that we have across this nation. I'll tell you this much, in 2020, I was left alone, and what I mean when I was left alone, I was issued a notice of removal for sanctioning a strike. Well, we all know that's illegal, but when it happened, it was the 50-year anniversary of the 1970 strike. So figure that out. You know, that was like one of the biggest things that happened to me. But when I reached out to my national leadership, they told me they were going to get back to me. I'm still waiting for them to get back to me, okay? And I really mean that. I don't mean it in a bad way. I'm really sincere about it. I'm still waiting for them to get back to me to help me out. For 369 days, I was left alone. I had to figure this out until I went in front of an arbitrator, and I won my case in front of an arbitrator. But my membership was handicapped. Why was my membership handicapped? Because I was not allowed in no post office in Brooklyn. So then what I did, since they didn't allow me into no post office in Brooklyn, as the president, I'm also the chief steward. And what I did was I made sure, what I said, every grievance that I'm forwarding to management, they're gonna have to meet with me. I don't care where they meet with me, at my branch or at a McDonald's or anywhere they wanna meet. But guess what happened? They didn't. So I forwarded over 300 grievances to the B team. Once I did that, all of a sudden, at that time, my MBA said, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? I said, because I'm the chief steward and I'm the president of this branch and I gotta protect my membership. And that's what I did. And right now, I'm living proof of this, and I'm here today and I'm not going nowhere. So I'm here for the membership, and I'm always gonna be here for the membership. And again, thank you for allowing me to be here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, John. Next guest we're going to have up and speak, he's running for National Business Agent of Region 15. Those of us here on Long Island, that is our region. So this is a very important person for us here on Long Island. Welcome, Orlando Gonzalez, please.
Morning, family. Good morning. First of all, I want to tell you thank you for coming out. When I see rooms like this, it fills me not only with pride, but with hope for us. I have to thank the people that came up with this idea when nobody had it. They have done an amazing job in opening eyes here in Huntington, and I can't appreciate them enough, and that's Charlie and Mike. You guys, amazing job. Please give them a round of applause. They are doing something. They are doing something that for some reason it's not catching on as fast as it should be. This movement is about you. I retired last Friday after 35 years of service. I am dedicating myself to this. I'm good. I can leave, I can walk away, and I'm done. But they did something to me that was so unfair that I'm not even going to get into because I don't victimize myself. That's not what I'm going to do. I'm going to run out of this, and we're going to get out of this together. But if they did that to me after working in the office, after 16 years of service, I can only imagine what they're doing to people that don't have those types of positions. So my wife told me that if I didn't come back and run for this, I wouldn't be able to sleep. So I said, you know what, babe, you're right. This is worth it. And guys, again, like Mike and Charlie gave me that kind of hope, and I appreciate you guys, I really do. So as your MBA, what's going to be my focus? Very simple. I want to educate everyone, not just shop stewards, I want everybody to know what's going on. The transparency that we need here, the ability that we have in social media to throw a rock from behind the crowd and not come out and speak to people. For some reason, that is set up for people to make it easier for people to talk about people rather than to people. I'm the guy you're going to talk to. I have a great relationship with almost all the branches. I'm ready to do this on day one. I have a real plan for the work floor. I'm not worried about any political favors. I'm not doing none of that. You know, a lot of people run for politics and their first job, they believe, is to get reelected. Mine is not. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. My job is to make sure that you guys know how to pick an MBA, what an MBA is supposed to be, and to help you assist on finding the next person, because I'm not doing this forever. If it's one term or whatever it is, you guys are going to know how to pick an MBA, because the truth is, the next MBA is going to be my MBA as well. And that's how I got to look at it. So for me, I want to focus on you, because you're the ones that run this. You're the ruling body of the NALC. And I want to make that clear to every single letter carrier. This movement, I cannot be more proud that it came out when it did, because like I said, I was done. I could have walked away and been done. I love my grandchildren. They live here in Long Island. So I spend a lot of time here. But this was a higher calling. And the gentlemen behind me, when they speak, I cannot be more proud of this movement because of them. And I understand the purpose is because of you. So I'm doing this for you because I believe that we can do this for all of us. And again, it's going to take an effort, but I'm ready to do that. I'm ready to lock arms right now. I know the branches that need the help. I know the branches that are looking to do the work. And most important, I know the individuals that are willing to step up and do that work. And it's all about providing the knowledge and giving the opportunities to the people that step up, lock arms with them, and make sure that you guys never, ever feel like you're by yourself. I'm the type of person that I follow up with what I say. I try to surround, I don't see no kids here. I like to surround myself with people that don't talk shit. I like to surround my people with people that do shit. And that's about as New York as I can put it. That's about as New York as I can put it. So that's what I'm looking for. But everybody will have an opportunity. You will at least have the ability to know what's going on, because not everybody has time to be an official. Not everybody has time to be a steward, or at least you think you don't. But if you know what's happening, it'll trigger two things at least. One is you will be more knowledgeable, and that's dangerous for management. And two, you will know how to cooperate and what to expect from the effort that we're putting forth. And I think that that's probably the most important thing. And where do we hear where those problems are coming from? From the work floor directly. I have a program that I've been working on for about 2 years now. I have 178 people on that certain group, which you guys are going to be part of, that we're coming after the work floor, but not only the work floor, but the organization itself. Once again, letter carriers have to step up and do something about this organization, and just the supervisors that don't really, you know what, I'll put it bluntly, don't know what they're doing. I know where I am. I know where I am. You know, these repeat violations, you know, I'll give you an example of that. The first 3 months of this year, we were over 300 million in grievances. Now, my thing is, we need goal-oriented training. We need to take care of the problem, not just grieve it, because we can do repetitive grievances and win grievances, and that's fantastic, but we're not fixing the problem. And my thing is, we need to fix the problems. Now, I'm going to announce something here today that you probably don't know, but it's already in work. And I have an agreement with the district in D2 that one of the first places I'm gonna come to is Huntington. And I'm gonna start a program in Huntington that you guys are gonna absolutely be a part of. And all the other stations, be ready, because I'm coming for you too. I wanna start in Huntington because I wanna point at Huntington to say this works. I've done a few stations, SNDCs, and it works everywhere I've been at. And Huntington is gonna be just as good because it's gonna be run by you. And that's what this is supposed to be. This is supposed to be a grassroots, ground, rank and file effort. And I have that belief in you. Like I said, I could have been in Florida somewhere, but this is too important. I could wait 4 years for Florida. You know, when the next NBA comes out, hopefully we'll find somebody, because I'm not looking for somebody that's like me. I'm looking for somebody that's better than me, but I know what to expect from an NBA, and I'm gonna teach you that. You know, you just can't come out of the woodwork and have a few big branches come and endorse you, and they're gonna handpick who represents you. No, I'm gonna show you how to change that, to make sure that you're the ones that are heard, that anybody who wants that type of losses understands the responsibility and comes see you face to face. You know, these negative narratives that are out there on social media, I'm from here. I'm from New York, and I'm here. If anybody comes after my work ethic, and my work, I let my work speak for itself. I'm not gonna pat myself on the back. Those that know me know me. But if there's some negative narratives coming at me, I give you my word right here. If somebody tells you something negative about me, tell them to come tell me. Why are they telling you? I am straight up, eye to eye. I put my reputation on the line every single day, but I don't like that. I don't like lies. I don't like having to step on somebody else to get a position. I believe that this position should be earned the right way, and that's you. When you believe in me, and you give me that trust, I take that very, very seriously. And I'm doing this because of you, just you. No political favors. I don't have any friends in Washington, obviously. For them to let me go 2 weeks before Christmas and try to hurt my family, nah, they did something different. They woke me up. And I have work that's yet undone, and that work is you. I promise you, you will be better when you know what's going on every single day. And I want to open those doors to every single letter carrier and make sure that you get the education that you need to move this organization forward. Now the program that I'm putting together is not just us. We are the largest craft, obviously, in the Postal Service. So what we say matters. But the way I work it is I bring all crafts together. Like I said, I already have an agreement with the district to come into Huntington. And we're gonna do that immediately, and I'll be ready on day one for you. So I appreciate the time. I thank these guys and everybody here for coming out. Get ready, because we're coming.
Thank you, Orlando. I just want to make mention that we have some people from the APWU union here supporting us, because that's what the CLC does. We don't just bring carriers together, we bring all crafts together, because the goal here is to fight against management, not each other. So, Mike, come on up.
Red Mike.
Go ahead, introduce our next guest. Go ahead.
Everyone, the voice. You know him through the podcast, wherever you're from. This is the man that's been teaching every step, every level. New, mid, senior carriers, one of the most knowledgeable people that I've ever heard, ever in 10 years, Mr. Corey Walton.
Thank you, sir. It's quite the introduction. And thank y'all, man. This is a fantastic group on a Sunday. All this stuff in here, James and I were blown away when we walked in here, man. It's like I put it on first class. Thank y'all so much for your hospitality. To me and my beautiful wife, Tracy, over there. Y'all can give her a hand for how beautiful she is. But I'm a little under the weather, so I'm not going to speak long. I know I say that every week on my podcast, and about 2 hours later, I'm still talking, cussing, but I'm not going to speak that long. But I do appreciate you more than you know. I am a city letter carrier in Nashville, Tennessee. Been doing that for 34 years. Still do that. I do miss my route. James and I travel about 2 times a week. We go somewhere. And we had some withdrawals last week. I was on vacation, and so we were sending each other little heart texts to each other because we missed each other. Not really. But I did miss him. But we travel everywhere, man. And so just to get out the message about who the CLC is. And I know that there are some that do not like us. Some maybe around here that don't care for the CLC, that they love the status quo. And they want us to be the bad guys. And that's how they'll portray us as, those guys in black, the bad guys. I know this. And I want to speak to those individuals today just for a little bit, and I'll be done. To those individuals that say that we are the bad guys. I know that the Postal Service has sold us on the fact that they're broke. And so my union has bought into that. And they said, hey, to help y'all out, what we're going to do is we're going to do away with the cease and desist on all these grievances. We're going to do away with that language, and we're going to come up with some watered down language like shall comply, which has damaged the city letter carrier craft. That doesn't hurt the union. The union doesn't file the grievances. They're not the aggrieved. The city letter carrier is the aggrieved, right? We're the ones who go to our union to file a grievance, and they'll do that on our behalf. So when the union does that, when they take away one of the only avenues that we have for compliance, they want us to be the bad guys, the CLC. That doesn't make any sense to me because we're not the ones doing that. It is the status quo that's being protected by presidents like the one that runs this branch here. They want us to be the bad guys. Then you have the escalated monetary award. They're trying to do away with that. The union is trying to do away with that to help the Postal Service because the Postal Service has told us that they are broke, and we have bought that at the national level. The CLC will not be the bad guys for that. That's the status quo. But you have branch presidents that want us to be the bad guys. They want the status quo. I remember when my brother Eugene Gates Jr. passed away, and if y'all listen to me, y'all know the outrage I had towards that about what I felt happened. And I know that my union at the highest level, instead of coming out in support of us, the anger that the city letter carrier had during that period of time, instead of getting in front of us and saying, hey, I'll lead this charge right here for our brother Eugene Gates Jr., our president said that we were seeking a pound of flesh. I will not be the bad guy for my president saying that we're seeking a pound of flesh. The CLC will not be the bad guys for that. But yet we are the bad guys to certain branch presidents like yours. I know that when they came out with the stationary events and we were begging and pleading our national level to do something nationally about them coming out with the stationary events coming after the city letter carrier. And our leadership turned their back on us. I will not be the bad guy for that. The CLC will not be the bad guys for management of the union's cowardice when it came to stationary events. But there are those that choose to make us out to be the bad guys, like a certain branch president close to here. I know that we had a TA come out, and it was the worst pile of shit I've ever seen in my life. And it ran all over me when I saw that. Because we were begging our union leadership to fight for us in that TA. We were begging them. There was only one out of the top 3 that stood out on the street with a sign saying, vote no. That's this man right here. The other 2 at the top were looking down out of their window at him standing on the street saying, vote no, taking all of his responsibilities away. And you want us to be the bad guy for that? Is he the bad guy because he stood up for the city letter carrier and said, vote no to this pile of shit that they came out with in this TA? But there are those that want us to be the bad guy because we have decided to go against the status quo. We have decided to form a slate to go against those that are cowards in our union. And for that, we have been labeled the bad guys because we want to fight for the city letter carrier. The TA was voted down like 71%. The city letter carrier stood up, they rose up, they showed up, and they voted overwhelmingly to vote down the TA because it was disrespectful to those of us in light blue who actually do the work. That was disrespectful to us. And so we voted that down. And who was the bad guy for that? We were. We were. How dare we have a voice? How dare we have a say? How dare we vote down the TA that this precious president of ours handed us? But you will have branch presidents close to here, right, that will sing that bastard's praises, and they will make us the enemy. They will make the CLC the enemy. Why is that? Why is the CLC the enemy? Why is it that you'll have branch presidents get on social media saying, hey, my branch is not going to support the CLC. They're not going to vote for the CLC. We want the status quo. Now, who is the bad guy there? Who is the bad guy there? I'm going to say that anybody that stands up for the cowardice that we've had these last 3 years, you, my friend, are the bad guy. Because you have turned your back on the ones that you're supposed to support. You have turned your back on the ones who have put you into that position through their vote. And you have turned your back on the city letter carriers, the only ones in this motherfucker doing the work. That's what you've done. And you want me to be the bad guy for that? You want James Henry to be the bad guy for that? We're not going to be. We're going to be the change that this union so desperately needs. We're going to be those that are going to exact change on management when we take over. We're going to win. That's a foregone conclusion. This man right here is going to be your next business agent. That's a fact. This man right here is going to be the next president of this union. That's a fact. There's nothing anybody can do about it. They can cry and whine and moan and get on social media and say all they want to say. There's not shit you can do about it. We're coming. Period. Change is coming. Now, I told you I wasn't going to talk long. Got 5 more minutes, brother, and I'm out. But if you were to make a list, and I ask this everywhere I go, if you were to make a list of what you want in your union and your president, what would be on that list? Because you got a few more months and we're voting, right? We got nominations in August, and then comes the vote. What is it you're looking for in your president? I think that with me just looking, and of course, obviously I'm biased, but looking at what's gone on with my union over the last 3 years, the dishonesty, the cowardice, obviously, those that have turned their back on us. The thing that I want most, if it was my list, up at the very top, number 1, would be integrity. I've said this years ago. We need integrity. If you've got integrity, we can work with that. When you tell me something, I have to know that you're telling me the truth, especially as a president. When you talk about the last TA, for example, all the way through those 700 days, we heard promise after promise after promise, not one of them fulfilled. So to me, I would have to say that integrity, to me, is the most important thing. This man right here has got more integrity than anybody I've ever known in my lifetime. And I'm not just saying that. I'm not just saying that. I know that there was a vote amongst the committee for the CLC, and y'all have heard this story many times. And James won the vote. And the individual who lost basically took their ball and left. I know this for a fact. If James would have lost that vote, he would still be with the CLC. Why? Because his word means more than anything else. His word means more than anything else. That's integrity. That's integrity. If you tell me that you got my back and the next day I see you on social media saying you're running against me, you tell me all I need to know. Integrity's got to be number one. I need somebody who's a street fighter. We need that right now more than at any time in our history. The political part of this thing has destroyed us, with us wanting to get in bed with management. The political side of it has killed us. Right now, more than at any time in our history, we need a street fighter. We need somebody who is used to being in that fight. You look at arbitration, something that we've always said, the advocates need to get themselves ready because we're going back into arbitration. If you look at arbitration, this man right here is the greatest advocate the union has ever seen. Nobody compares to him as far as arbitration. And what does that mean to me? When you say somebody's the best advocate that you've ever had. And arbitration is the greatest setting. It's mano a mano. It's me against them in front of somebody neutral. Me against labor against the enemy in front of somebody neutral. This man right here has had hundreds of arbitrations with about an 85% winning clip. Now that tells me that this man can go into any setting and win it. That's what that tells me. Some people don't look at it that way. That tells me that this guy can go into any room and win that room. That's what it means. This guy's the best that's ever done it. Education has got to be on that list as well, right? If you're talking about a list of who the president's going to be, education has got to be one of the top three. I've always said it on my podcast, an educated workforce is a devastating thing. We talk about that all the time. An educated workforce, not an educated shop steward or educated Formula A or DRT, an advocate. An educated workforce is a devastating thing. This man right here is the greatest educator that this union has ever seen. You look at the record that this man has. Educating, advanced formal step A and beyond, arbitration advocacy training. Nobody has the record that man has. James Henry is going to be the next president of this union. And it's because of his record is the reason that's going to happen. It's because of his integrity is the reason that's going to happen. The CLC is a slate, but I will tell you this right now. If they run somebody against me and I get beat, I'm going to carry mail for 6 more years and I'm going to retire. Y'all will be no worse for the wear. This man right here has got to win. This man right here has got to win. As a city letter carrying light blue, I'm telling you, this man right here has got to win the presidency, or we are fucked if he doesn't. We have gone down a rabbit hole these last 3 years, man, and we are suffering like I have never seen in my time because of failed leadership. We need James Henry more than ever right now. Now, James Henry has tasked me with 2 things. Give me 3 more minutes. Am I going on an hour already? James Henry has tasked me with a couple of things. When he asked me to be EVP, we had long talks, still do, long talks about what is going to be expected of me, demanded of me. educating the workroom floor. He said, you're going to educate my people, period. And whatever you need, the resources you need, you're going to do it. He gave me Paul Bolanger as the Director of Education, bringing that back so that we can jumpstart that education. He said, educate my people. That's what you're going to do. And so we're going to educate the workroom floor. That is a priority. Day one, we're going to educate our people. The most important thing I can give you is education. That's the reason I've been doing the podcast for 3 some odd years. Is the most important thing I can give you is education. Things that I have learned along the way. Things that people have taught me. Situations I've been in. To try to help you as much as I can. I don't make a penny off the podcast. Matter of fact, I've $30 a month to put it up. I don't make a cent. For 3.5 years, I've been doing that on the free every Sunday. Why? Because I'm light blue. I love light blue. It's all I know. It's all I've done. I've been out there 34 summers, 34 Christmases, 34 years I've been doing this thing. And so it's the only thing I can give you is what I've got, what I've been taught, education. So James says, you're going to educate the workroom floor. I said, brother, I got you. I'm going to do that. He says, secondly, we're going after those managers that have created a toxic working environment for my people. We're going to come after them. We're going to name it the dogs of war. And we're going to educate those teams to go into those stations with those hostile managers, which will benefit the APW, which will benefit rural carriers and mail handlers and all of them, because we're going to go in and address those managers that have decided to make my carriers' lives a living hell. He says, you're going to take that over. That's going to be the dogs of war. And we're going to educate them nationally, and they're going to answer nationally. They're not going to answer to anyone but us. Why is that? Because I don't want people to, if we have MBAs that make it in that shouldn't have, that are too chummy with district managers, are too chummy with some of these managers on the floor, which is happening. And those things get resolved with some kind of bullshit language. That's not going to happen. So they're going to answer to us and us alone. So he says, you're going to educate the workroom floor, and we're handling the toxic working environment that is running rampant across this country. He says, Corey, you're going to do that. I said, yes, sir. That's exactly what I'm going to do. And so when we get in, that's going to be a priority day one. We're going to start doing that. I'll promise you this, and I'll be gone. I promise you this. Every second of every day, I'm going to be fighting for you. Every second of every single day, I'm going to be fighting for light blue. It's all I know. It's all I've done. One thing that you can do for me and us, it's just like you're doing here. Get on your workroom floor and educate your people about the CLC. Anybody you run across, educate them about who we are. When we get in, we'll take care of the rest. I love you with everything in me. I do. I love you. I'm Corey Walton, running for Executive Vice President. Appreciate your vote. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Corey. Thank you. That's a guy we want representing us, I'll tell you that much. I just want to let everybody know that after Mr. Henry speaks, we're going to do some of our raffles for the prizes. We're going to let the 50-50 raffle run till the end of the event. So everybody, if you have a chance to step back there, please, we can use all the support we can get. After we do that, we're going to have a straight question and answer period. So anybody that has any questions, you'll be able to ask any one of our guests whatever question you have. The next guest here is somebody that I've gotten to know very well over the last year or so. I first met this man, we went to a Vote No rally in Brooklyn because, as you know, here on Long Island, nobody was putting anything together for us. So we ventured over there to Brooklyn. Yola, thank you. You're the first one that got us out there. Yola, Larson, Nick, and myself, we went out to Brooklyn on a cold December morning, which I was mocked for in an audio recording last summer. And I met James Henry, and he stood in the middle of the street right next to us, and he fought for us against that TA that we voted down. And he didn't have to do that because he was getting paid his salary, so he had no reason to be freezing in December in the middle of Bath Avenue with us in Brooklyn. But he was there fighting for our wages as letter carriers. So I want everybody to welcome the next president of the NALC, Mr. James Henry.
Good morning, Long Island. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
First and foremost, it is an immense honor and privilege to be here. I've been looking forward to this for the last couple of months, and we have been trying to coordinate some opportunity to be able to come out and address the letter carriers here in Long Island and anyone else that wanted to come. And coordinating with Charlie, mostly over the period of time we were able to settle in on today. And I want to start off by saying thank you, Charlie, Mike, and everyone that assisted in making this happen today, even his delightful mother, wife, and aunt back there that came out to assist, those that are from other crafts, those that came in from other branches. You know, I have my man here, Alexander, said he's from Long Island City. From my understanding, is a considerable ways away. And we have Ray coming down from the Philadelphia area. And those of you that are here on your day off today, thank you very much for coming out. One of the things that I've often said, me and Corey, as we travel, is that we don't care if it's 2 or 2,000. You ask us to come, we're going to come. Because this is not about myself, James Henry. It's not about Corey or anyone specifically on the CLC. This is about us, the collective group, letter carriers as a whole, as Corey often likes to characterize as light blue. This is what this is all about. And as he indicated, I could have taken the opportunity to say, you know what? I'm out of here. I don't need the grief from what I'm getting up there at headquarters. And for the last 2.5 years, we've been campaigning. And I've been called every single thing other than a child of God. I've been going from here and there, and myself and Corey and others that's on the team, on the slate, trying to get our message out. Last year, Corey and I spent nearly or in excess of $30,000 each traveling the country between airfare and hotels and rental cars and food. And then we have been doing the same thing this year. Exhausted our leave, in leave without pay status. This is why we've been going to most of our places, a lot of our places over the weekend. And I don't say that for the standpoint of trying to invoke any type of sympathy from anybody. What I'm saying it is because it demonstrates to you that we believe in you, we believe in this movement, and we believe that the sacrifice is warranted and necessary, because the hallmark of anybody that truly cares about what they claim they do is their ability and their capacity to sacrifice. And that won't stop right here and now during the campaign period. That will continue throughout our tenure as officers representing you. It's the ability and the willingness to sacrifice on your behalf. This is not about any prestige or this job. in and of itself. I often state as I travel is that this job is not something that I was born into. This is not some inherent right that I have. I see it as a privilege to represent you. I spent 22 years in the Marine Corps, and anyone that's been in the military knows that, and have military service members, knows that you have to go to boot camp. Basic training. It doesn't matter whether you're a doctor, whether you are a mechanic, whether you're a food service, whether you are administrative, supply, it doesn't matter. You still have to go through boot camp. Basic training. Learn how to shoot your rifle. Learn how to march. Because why? At the very core of your responsibility is the defense of this country. Well, it doesn't matter whether you're the national vice president like myself, or shop steward, or you're one of the branch officers, or the president of this NALC as a whole. At the core of our responsibility is to represent you. Our first and foremost responsibility is to look out for your interests. And like he said, when that TA, that tentative agreement came around, I was vilified for standing up and saying that I don't believe that this is worthy of the letter carrier's worth and the labor that we put in. And they said, James, you're the national vice president. You're saying things like that. It undermines what the president is trying to do. Well, my loyalty is not to a man, but to you, the letter carriers on the workroom floor. We have an obligation as leaders to be honest with you. Some of the most characteristic traits that you want in any leader is, as he indicated, integrity. You want judgment. You want trustworthiness. You want to be able to know that when your leader says something, that you can set your clock by it. That's how dependable it should be. I don't care how smart you are. I don't care how gifted you are. I don't care how eloquent you are. What matters above all, the best ability is dependability. There are many people that up at headquarters that is very smart. But what you found out is that can I depend on them? That's what matters. Well, what you can depend on, brothers and sisters, you elect me as your national president. I will not spend 700 days traveling the country trying to convince you why the Postal Service can't pay you what your worth is. You won't have me going around trying to tell you that the Postal Service has a $9 billion hole and they haven't done everything to clean up their own home. What do I mean by that? Those of you that have looked into the news and read about how the OIGs did a report and found that the Postal Service was not compliant with the grievance settlements, and as such have basically forfeited $1 billion because of non-compliance with grievance procedures. You have situations where they have a bloated amount of managers and supervisors that are taking up all kinds of salaries. Well, my attitude is, don't come crying poverty to me with 2 loaves of bread under each arm. We'll take care of your business before you try and take it out on the back of the letter carriers. It doesn't matter whether you were like from branch 6,000, branch 41, branch 1100 where I come from, branch 4 where Corey comes from. It does not matter. What matters is that we are all the NALC. We are one group of letter carriers that have one common cause, and that is to make sure that we have a living wage that we get from hire date to retirement date, that you can have food on the table, clothes on your back, and a roof over your head. And right now, this wage that we do have as a whole, particularly those that start at the very beginning, is deficient. You should not have letter carriers having to go down to the union hall to take showers. That is not some fable. You have the branch president of branch 41 right here, who had to have his membership authorize the building of a shower for letter carriers to come take a shower. Because they cannot afford to live in the inner city, there in New York. Now, I understand that everyone does not have the same cost of living throughout the country, but it still doesn't change the fact that our wages have fallen far behind where they should be. We often hear about how UPS drivers are making $49 an hour. And when the law requires that we have comparable wages, we have fast food workers that where I come from, born and raised in Los Angeles, making $21. People working at the car wash making $25 an hour. And our CCAs coming in making just over $21 an hour. A union job. None of those other jobs that I had mentioned have to contend with having to deal with dogs out on the street. Don't have to contend with the extreme heat and extreme cold. Don't have to contend with coming to work and trying to spend more time trying to keep their job than doing their job. We're not being paid what our labor is worth. We're not being paid what the letter carriers have demonstrated that our labor is worth. And so they'll say, James, what do you think? Should we have $30 an hour? Should we have $50 an hour to tops pay? Whatever that may be, it is something that the letter carriers are worthy of and more. But the fact of the matter is that we do deserve a living wage. And how are we going to get that? Often here, they say, well, James, you're going around and you're guaranteeing people that you're going to do this and do that. I haven't guaranteed nobody nothing other than one simple fact is that we'll fight for you. That's what we guarantee. And if anything that we ask for that we don't receive, it will never, ever, ever be due to lack of trying. That's what it will not be. And the facts come down to this simple thing, that right now you look at our wage structure. Those that start off to those that are at the top of the pay scale. Anyone knows what the difference is? It's approximately $31,000 difference between those that are starting today and those that are at the top of the pay scale. In what universe should that be? Because this has been whittled away over the period of time. Our worth. When I started off, it was only about an $8,000 difference between beginning and the top step. But somehow we've allowed them to increase our contributions to the health plan. And anyone that has the health plan right now, you tell me if I'm lying here. Premiums have increased this year alone approximately $1,000. Is that not true? Is it true? True. But yet, you get your cost of living allowances and your wages, that is absorbed by the expenses that you have now incurred. We are not keeping up. And those that are getting the top colas, what is happening? Those at the top are getting the top colas, but the ones that are in the middle and below are getting a diet cola. They're not getting the full $1,200, $1,300 that came about. You're getting a prorated amount about that. And that should not be the case. We have to make sure that every single letter carrier, whether you are one-day CCA or 40-year letter carrier, that everybody has the ability to be able to sustain themselves. And that we're being paid what it is that we're worth. That is not the case. And where that starts at is not having a defeatist attitude with our leadership. Going into negotiations or speaking with the Postal Service and taking the approach that whatever it is that they give us, that we'll divide it up, the pie up. That's not what's supposed to happen. We should be going in and saying, this is what we demand, this is what we're worth, and if we cannot give that to us, at least peace out, we'll see you in arbitration. That's what should be happening. But this defeatist attitude of thinking that somehow, out of the benevolence of their heart, that they're going to do something for us. They've demonstrated, meaning the service, that it's all about them and them alone. My grandfather used to say, you need to know what side of the bread your butter is on. Our butter is on the side of the letter carriers. And I will stand with you each and every single day throughout my entire life. Because this is about us. It's collectively about us. If we don't stand up for ourselves, who will? And I often say, and you perhaps heard me say, that if you don't stand up for what you know is right, you're as wrong as the wrongest self. And you, Long Island particularly, are an epitome of that. You are an embodiment of that. You come out today and not only stood up, you're standing out. Not just here in New York, but throughout the country. Because you've had some of your leadership that stand up and says that what they're doing, they're not representative of us. They're not the ones that speak for us. Well, that tells you where the attitude is at. Because how can it be us and them? We all should be one. In every union, we should be one. And when you standing up and standing out, it's like letter carriers every single day. They get up, dress up, and show up to work and do their job. Because like I said, I am not the union. Corey or anyone else is the union. It's you that get up every single day. You're the one that's the union. You're the one that's going to make a difference come here this August when the nominations happen and then when the votes go out or the ballots go out here in September, October. Your determination to make a change, your decision to have someone that truly cares about their job and care about you and understanding what their job is, and that is to have a sense of duty. Not doing what it is that I believe I want to do, but doing what is on behalf of the letter carriers. That's the responsibility first and foremost. And if we don't understand that as leaders, then something's wrong. What was said to me before is that if you go out and you call yourself leading and you turn around and ain't nobody behind you, you ain't leading, you just out for a walk. And that's what's up right now with a lot of our leaders in this union. That they turn around, nobody's behind them because they're looking out for themselves instead of looking out for you. Well, brothers and sisters, I submit to you that every single day we got your back like vertebrae. We're going to take care of you. We're going to do everything that we can to make sure that you are proud members of this NALC. I ask that you don't apply no purity test to myself, to Corey, or anyone else. We're not perfect, but we have a perfect heart. Our intentions are to do everything that we can, 24/7. And like I said, and people ask, well, how are you going to do this, James? How are you guys going to do that? It's not complex at all. Simply fight. Put forth the effort. Have a can-do attitude. That's how. Assemble the people that are like-minded, have a heart condition that's going to work on behalf of the letter carriers and not themselves. Making sure that management understands where we're coming from. That this fake rapport that we think that we have is just that. Some illusion. We will cooperate, but we won't capitulate ever. The one thing I can tell you, brothers and sisters, that we will never bend or never bow to anything that the Postal Service want, just simply because they want it, or because it's difficult or challenging to accomplish. We will not bend or bow. We will fight on your behalf. And like I said, and I say over and over again, is that if you don't get anything, you get this. We will not only fight for you, but we will fight with you. Take care and God bless. Thank you.